Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for another installment of Slab and Gab here on the channel, recurring segment where we look at a slab or two from my collection and talk about them a little bit. And in today's episode, it's going to be a trio from the 1964 Topps baseball set, one of my favorite 1960s designs. And we'll just get right down to it here. These are each going to be graded a PSA Near Mint 7. So I picked these up many, many years back when I first got into graded cards. I've probably had these, more than a dozen years now, as evidenced by the older PSA flip that doesn't have the lighthouse or the hologram here. But here's a nice Sox Sockers featuring the great Yaz on the left there. Just a cool photo of two Red Sox players. I believe this is at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium in the background there. And just a fan of these combo cards in general that existed throughout the 50s and 60s. And obviously a chance to get one with a franchise best player and Yaz on the front was just too good to pass up. And then here's the back. We got a little summary about Yaz and Chuck Schilling, the other subject on the card. So I'll just leave that there for a second in case you want to read up on that. Didn't really buy this one for the back, although that is an interesting summary. This was just all about the card on the front, combining 2 stars. So definitely not, admittedly one of the more exciting Topps combo cards of the decade, but being a Red Sox fan, I thought enough of that card to go out and pick it up in graded format. And the second card that I have to show is a Red Sox card as well. So here is Johnny Pesky, longtime Boston Red Sox player, manager, coach. He spent something like 60 plus years in the Red Sox organization in different roles, and also admirably served in World War II, which is something that you would probably never see these days, and really admire those guys back in the day who did that, especially in these kind of crazy times that we're living through, and some of the recent events here that have transpired over the last month or two definitely makes you appreciate even more what guys like Ted Williams or Johnny Pesky did, taking a break from the sport that they loved and their careers to go overseas and fight in a war. So a lot of respect for him. And of course, the Pesky pole, the right field foul pole at Fenway Park, is named after the man, which is very fitting. He had something like a 73-year career in baseball. And as I said, I think over 60 of those years were spent involved with the Red Sox organization in some way. Beginning with a player or as a player, and then later serving as a manager and coach. So really nice manager card there. Always loved the photograph on that one. I love how Johnny is just kind of extending past the upper white border on the card to give it that kind of 3D effect. And just a really nice shot of him in the dugout, and I've always enjoyed that one. It's not an expensive card at all. Even in graded form, I'm sure you can get that at a reasonable price, but just one where I enjoy the image and the history behind it, and the fact that the subject of the card is, one of the more successful and notable names in the very long history of my favorite team, the Boston Red Sox. The last card that I have to show here today is a bona fide Hall of Famer on the pitching side of the charts. One of the best pitchers of all time, I'd say, in top 25 pitcher ever to pitch in Major League Baseball, maybe right up until present day, which I know is a pretty lofty claim, but we have the great Juan Marichal. And in my estimation, at least you could make an argument that he was potentially the best pitcher of the 1960s. He's certainly in the conversation, no matter how you slice it. I think, most people would agree that it's either Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, or Juan Marichal when you're talking about the best pitcher from that decade. Not enough of an expert, wasn't alive at the time to have too informed an opinion there, but I have read some articles that place Mr. Marichal actually atop that list and above those other 2 pitchers, which is pretty impressive. So he is probably the most valuable of the 3 cards that we're looking at here today, although Marichal seems a little bit underappreciated in the hobby as well, even the crazy modern hobby, in terms of just how much success he had as a player versus what his hobby prices command on the secondary market. So yeah, 3 that I've had for a long, long time. Really enjoy the 64 Topps set. I think the simplistic elegance of the design really allows you to kind of focus on the photo. And there are some great photos included, and it's just a fun era in baseball. So of all the sets in the 60s, this one is up near the top of the list for me. Do have some other graded and raw 64 cards that we'll be getting to at some point in the channel's future, but ran across these three and matching PSA 7 slabs and thought they would make a fun, if not brief, episode here where we get into a Slab and Gab installment on the trio. So that's all I've got for today. We're going to keep this shorter than a lot of my videos and cut it prior to 6 minutes, but really appreciate you stopping by to check out these vintage slabs, and I will certainly be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Till then, take care, everybody.